Welcome to Reddit Echoes, where seemingly normal stories unravel into full-blown dramas, savage clapbacks, and moments of "I wasn't wrong, you were just that awful." In today's episode, we've got twist after twist, the kind that makes judges sigh and smug villains eat their own words. From a disrespected war veteran who turns the tables to a tenant who knows the law better than the landlord, get ready for punches straight to the face of prejudice delivered through logic, the legal system, and just the right amount of well-seasoned sarcasm. If you've ever been treated unfairly, these stories will remind you you're not alone. And if you are the jerk in someone else's story, sorry, karma's knocking. Story 1. My bones broke, but my pride. Didn't I used to be a soldier? Iraq, bombs, brothers lost. I made it out alive with a body full of cracks and a mind that never fully healed. But even with broken bones, I never lost my pride. After I got out, I drifted for a while, fixed up cars, lived simply. Eventually, I settled in a quiet little town that looked peaceful, like something out of a fall postcard. I'm 63. Long hair, thick beard, tattoos up both arms. The kids on the street avoided me. The grown-ups looked like they expected me to mug them. But I was used to that. I never needed anyone's pity. I found work at a local oil change shop. $100 a day, 6 days a week, Sundays off. Not bad for an old man just trying to stay afloat and keep his beat-up car running. The owner, Peter, was a rich guy with a thing for vintage cars. He treated me okay. Things were fine until Karen came into the picture. Literally walked into the shop one day in high heels and those eyes that scan you like your dirt stuck to her Louboutin. Within a month, Peter married her, and then all hell broke loose. My pay was suddenly cut without warning. I asked, and Karen pursed her lips and said coldly, "You don't work a full 10 hours, so why should you get a full $100? I replied, "I'm paid by the day, not the hour. And I've never once asked for overtime." She just sneered. "New policy. Hourly rates from now on." I tried to let it go. The next week I clocked over 80 hours, skipped my day off, covered for 2 guys, and still got paid $600. I asked again. Peter just shrugged. I thought we agreed on $100 a day. I swallowed it down. I told myself, just keep your head down. But then Karen started humiliating people, yelling at a guy in front of customers for wearing sunglasses. Said it violated safety protocols. Then came the day I lost a brother, my actual battle buddy from Iraq. He was hit by a drunk driver. I was gutted. I needed silence. I told everyone I'd be working the pit that day. Just leave me be. But Karen didn't care. She stomped in, pointed at the pit, and screeched, "Peter, this place looks like a garbage dump." Peter looked at me and said in a condescending tone, like I was a damn 10-year-old, "Clean it up. It's an eyesore." I stared him dead in the eyes and said, "Today's not the day, Peter. Walk away. Take your lovely wife with you." Next day, Peter calls me to the main office. I figured maybe, just maybe, he realized I was grieving. Maybe he was going to apologize. Nope. He looked me in the eye and told me I was being punished. 6 months probation, my pay cut to $50 a day, travel stipend gone. I asked, "Are you serious?" Peter looked smug and said, "Be glad I pity your crippled vet ass. You should have been fired months ago." Something clicked in me. I laughed. Laughed so hard it made him uncomfortable. Then I stood up, towered over him like the old days when I'd bark at lazy recruits. "You should take a long, hard look at your wife and your life." That night, I called my lawyer, dropped $3,000 as a retainer. I was suing. Why unsafe work environment? Wage theft. Minimum wage violations. And the sweetest part, I kept working through all of it. Played the harmless old vet every single day while we built our case. 6 months later, me, my lawyer, and a swarm of former co-workers filed a class action lawsuit. 15 of us. Peter and Karen got dragged into mediation. They offered $50,000 to split between 15 people. We said no. And then, the Apache arrived. No, not a helicopter. The IRS. Turns out Peter had set up 6 shell companies, claimed he hired a different full-time veteran me for each one to get tax breaks. He told the IRS I worked 36 hours a week at 12-hour at 6 different locations simultaneously. During round 2 of mediation, my lawyer laid all that documentation on the table. Peter and Karen went white as ghosts. They agreed to pay $400,000 in back wages. On top of that, each of us got an additional $20,000 in personal damages. I walked away with over 6 figures. Total damage over $500,000. A few months later, Karen ran off with some guy she met at a casino. Peter went bankrupt. Had to sell off all his beloved vintage cars. One of them, his prized SV1, I saw it parked behind a real estate office. Abandoned. I didn't report him to the IRS. But someone did. Someone who had every document, every lie, every form. I don't know who, and I don't care. All that matters is justice was served. Reddit echoes where the scumbags pay and the strong get what's theirs. What would you have done if you were me? Don't forget to like and subscribe because more stories hotter than used oil in a pit are coming your way. Story 2. I paid rent. 1 day late and got 9 months free. So yeah, I used to work as a courthouse security guard, specifically at a civil court, the kind that handles landlord-tenant disputes you usually only hear about in TV dramas. Because of that, I knew the tenant laws, like I knew the Starbucks drink menu, backwards, forwards, and with extra foam. At the time, I was living in an older but decently maintained apartment building with my roommate. It was conveniently located, the neighbors were tolerable, and most importantly, the landlord, an old retired guy, never gave us any grief if rent was a few days late. As long as we paid every month, he didn't care. I always paid on the 2nd or 3rd since my paycheck landed on the 2nd. Simple, reliable, drama-free. But then, the old man sold the building. And that's when the season of chaos officially began. The new landlord. His name was Doug. Doug wore ironed polo shirts, rimless glasses, and had the overall vibe of someone who just discovered a get-rich-off real estate Facebook group and thought he was the next Elon Musk of property. Day 1 of owning the place, Doug emailed all tenants. The subject line: all caps, new property management policies, effective immediately. I opened it, nearly choked on my coffee. Here's the rundown. All rent must be paid by the 1st of each month. No exceptions. 1 day late, $75 fee. 3 late payments, immediate eviction. No warnings. All maintenance requests must go through his busted 2002 MS Paint-looking website. Naturally, I replied, "Hey, I get paid on the 2nd. I've always paid on the 2nd or 3rd for the past 3 years." The previous landlord was okay with that. Doug responded with all the warmth of a receipt printer. "That's irrelevant. All tenants must comply. No exceptions. Cool." So I followed up. "What about the inconsistent hot water, the sparking outlet, and the leaky fridge?" No response. I sent photos, then videos. Still nothing. I followed up twice more. Crickets. Then one night I was taking a shower, and the water suddenly turned Arctic. I mean 11 degrees Celsius, straight glacier juice to the spine. I slammed my back into the tub and let out a sound that probably scared the guy in the unit below. I took photos, got thermometer readings, captured the flickering outlet, filmed my fridge crying into my eggs. And you know what? I got the next morning. A late notice and an official notice to appear in court for violating the lease. Doug was suing me. For eviction. For being late on rent 3 times in 6 months. Never mind, each was just a day or 2 late. This is where things got fun. I called up a buddy from my courthouse days who, lucky for me, was now a housing attorney, and said, "Time to teach Doug what happens when you mess with someone who knows the system." In 3 weeks, I built a 72-page dossier. It included full rent payment history showing I'd never missed a full payment, time-stamped photos and videos of hazardous living conditions, a doctor's note confirming minor back injury from the ice shower incident, all unanswered emails and requests sent to Doug Court day came. Doug strutted in like a man ready to teach the broke guy a lesson. Pressed suit messy stack of papers, and that smug grin of someone who thought the eviction was in the bag. I walked in with a file thick enough to use as a footrest, and a smile like I had front-row tickets to his downfall. The judge asked Mr. Doug, on what grounds are you requesting termination of the lease? Doug read word for word, the clause about being late 3 times. Then gave me the kind of look that says, gotcha. I stood up and laid it out. I'd never been more than 2 days late and always notified in advance. The property failed to provide safe, livable conditions. The landlord ignored all maintenance requests. And I'd sustained an injury due to his negligence. Then I played the video. You could hear the thud when I hit the tub. The room went dead silent. Doug read as a boiled lobster. The judge slowly shook their head, looked at Doug and said, "You're attempting to evict a tenant over a 2-day delay in rent, while providing unsafe conditions that resulted in injury and ignoring all communication." Doug tried to speak, but the judge cut him off. My ruling: the lease remains valid. All late fees waived. The landlord is required to address all safety issues within 30 days, and the tenant is awarded 9 months of free rent as compensation. I nearly choked. Doug sputtered, "But, Your Honor." The judge raised a hand. "If you'd like to appeal, we can escalate this to a higher court." Would you prefer that Doug shut his mouth? As I walked out, my lawyer buddy clapped me on the back and said, "Doug just learned what happens when you sue the wrong tenant." For the next 9 months, I paid 0 rent, still lived comfortably in my unit. Doug, meanwhile, got hit with a surprise inspection by the city's housing authority. Rumor was he got slapped with multiple violations. And me, I was just your average tenant. Except now, every time I get a rent invoice, I smile and think, 1 day late, I got 9 months free, Doug. Reddit echoes, where injustice doesn't just get called out. It gets flipped, served, and garnished with sweet revenge. What would you have done if you were me? Like, comment, and subscribe, because we've got more twists coming that even Doug's MS Paint website can't crash. And that's what we've got for today: 2 savage comebacks from people who were never supposed to win. A war vet cast aside who brought an entire system to its knees. A regular tenant who schooled a smug landlord so hard the echo probably still hurts. If you love stories like these, pure R/energy packed with delicious revenge, spicy drama, and deeply satisfying endings, then don't forget, hit that like button. If karma gave you life today, drop a comment with your own story or just scream justice. Subscribe to Reddit Echoes so you never miss another real-life plot twist.